KHOU 11 News at 5:30 starts now.
We are following the latest on the tragedy at Astroworld. Good evening, I'm Cheryl Mercedes. Welcome to our webcast. A memorial to the 8 people killed in Friday's chaos continues to grow at NRG Park. A steady stream of mourners have been stopping by all day, dropping off flowers and other mementos to pay their respects. And through relatives and school administrators, we have been able to identify 5 of the 8 victims. 14-year-old John Hilgert was a 9th grader at Memorial High School. 21-year-old Franco Patino traveled from Ohio to attend the festival. He was a student at the University of Dayton. The other 21-year-old victim has been identified as Axel Acosta Denish Bag. A 27-year-old from North Texas also died, along with Rudy Pena from Laredo. Our Brittany Ford spoke with a friend of Rudy Pena's, and she joins us now live from NRG Park. Brittany, I imagine that was tough.
Well, Cheryl, emotions really have been running high here all day from the people we've seen coming by, paying their respects to the victims. Rudy's friends, as you can imagine, are just still in disbelief that this all happened. Tonight, you can see that his photo is now a part of this growing memorial here, honoring the victims and remembering the lives lost in Friday's chaos. Putting face to tragedy.
Rudy was a close friend of mine. We met in high school. He was an athlete, so he was well known.
23-year-old Stacy Sarmiento describing her friend Rudy Pena as someone who brought people together.
He was also like a people's person. He brought happiness everywhere he went. He was easy to get along with. It was like positive vibes from him all the time.
Pena, one of 8 confirmed victims who lost their life at Astroworld Friday. Sarmiento, a part of 2 groups of friends Pena was with that drove up from Laredo for the concert, never expecting.
When we saw him, it was kind of towards the back, and they all looked fine, but everyone was just pushing and shoving.
The horror they'd wake up to the next morning.
All my friends are like saddened and shocked by the news because we all came to have a good time, and just for his life, for him to lose his life in there, it was just horrible in there.
Really so tragic altogether. We did speak with Rudy's family members who are headed back to Laredo from Houston. They say they're not ready to talk about what happened just yet, as you can imagine, but we are keeping them in our thoughts and our prayers this evening. Cheryl?
Yeah, really tough to be able to share their stories at this point. Appreciate that. Thank you so much, Brittany Ford, reporting live. Travis Scott and Astroworld Festival organizers have been hit with their first lawsuit over the tragedy. The case was filed on behalf of festival goer Manuel Sosa. He's seeking over $1 million in damages for what he calls the organizers' gross negligence. The suit alleges, quote, the defendants failed to properly plan and conduct the concert in a safe manner. The lawyers also call the incident a predictable and preventable tragedy. Stay with KHOU 11 for continuing coverage of the tragedy at Astroworld. We will have more on that first lawsuit tonight on air at 10 o'clock. And you can also keep track of the latest developments online or with the KHOU 11 app. In other news, a Texas Marine killed in the Kabul airport attack was honored today at Houston's Fallen Warriors Memorial. Lance Corporal David Espinoza was one of 13 troops who lost his life in the suicide attack back in August. Today, his mother and other family members were on hand as his name was etched on the wall, which is located on Champions Drive.
It was an honor for us for them to do this for my son and for everybody that passed.
David's mother says her son had transferred from Jordan to Afghanistan 1 week before this attack. He and his unit had been assigned to protect refugees trying to flee the Taliban. Now for a quick check of your weather, another gorgeous evening, and best of all, we got an extra hour to sleep or do whatever we chose. Addison, I was out on my bike, just too beautiful to not take advantage of the day.
I absolutely would be there with you as well, Cheryl, but my bed was too enticing. I'm sorry. I got that full extra hour of sleep, and then afterwards, a lot of people stepped outside, maybe going for a bike ride or a jog earlier on, and then watched a beautiful sunset eventually coming on in, but unfortunately an hour earlier than where it has been in days past. So currently we got 67 degrees being reported right there on Galveston out there during the golden hour, with the light breeze coming on in off the Gulf of Mexico. So we're slowly starting to bring around a little more moisture in the atmosphere, and the humidity level right there will slowly be on the rise, not just for tonight, but over the course of the next several days. But speaking of sunsets, looking back from the day to day and going forward in throughout the next several weeks, all the way up towards the winter solstice, we are losing roughly about 36 minutes of daylight. So hopefully you've enjoyed it how it has been in weeks past when we had all those hours of daylight, especially during the summer months, because now we're starting to get towards less and less daylight coming our way. But for the day today, we saw a high of 72 degrees, nice and pleasant, after a morning low of 45, which was running nearly 10 degrees cooler than the average low. The records of 89 and 29 thankfully will stay in the record books for another year. High pressure is sitting just to our north and east and is starting to bring on that onshore flow across the area, but notice there's barely a cloud in the sky as we're scanning across southeastern portions of Texas, where we have currently 68 degrees in Brenham, 70 degrees in Tomball. Out towards Mount Belvieu, you're sitting a little cooler at 58 degrees, a little bit of a breeze coming in off the bay. Galveston, you're at 67. Out towards Sugar Land, you're sitting pretty at 70 degrees. Other temperatures, as we look further to the west, are trending milder as we're bringing more of a flow off of southern Texas and off across portions of northern Mexico as well. So we got 82 degrees in El Paso, 75 in Del Rio, and into the low 80s up in the Panhandle area. Eventually, we'll start to see this high-pressure system that's been giving us this great weather the past several days move further to the east, and we're going to eventually get a cold front to drop on down from the northwesterly direction, heading on over in towards Wednesday to Thursday's time frame. But as we watch this high pressure down towards the surface eventually move eastward, we have another one sitting over the borders of Mexico and Texas, helping to bring in this nice pleasant flow of air across the southern plains, but also as that air is descending down from up aloft, diving down towards the surface, it's drying out and heating up, and that's what's allowed us to keep those skies relatively clear. And this will be the case for at least one more day before we start to see a little more cloud cover pushing back our way. So by tomorrow morning, you're going to be waking up to a little bit of a chill in the air, especially north of the I-10 corridor. Go out towards Livingston, you're going to go down to 49 degrees, Conroe 48, 49 in Columbus, and 54 degrees in Sugar Land. Close to the Gulf, of course, you'll be trending on the milder side. And then moving throughout the day, you'll see those temperatures warm up nicely. All the while, skies stay relatively clear until we get towards Tuesday's time frame, with that cold front slowly starting to approach western Texas. As you make your way in towards Wednesday afternoon, now we have the rain chances starting to kick on up. It's about 10 to maybe 30% chance in the afternoon hours. We're going to be experiencing more warming pattern, a little more moisture comes across our way with that onshore flow. Then as eventually that cold front comes closer towards us by Thursday morning, we'll start to eventually see that rain chance start to diminish, and then we get a cooler, drier of air flowing down across the area. Skies are clearing out nicely as we head in through Thursday night from west to east, and that'll be the trend going through Friday and eventually in towards Saturday's time frame. So for Monday morning, it's going to be cool with some minor patchy fog in some spots because that moisture will be pushing onshore. But by the afternoon hours, starting from lunchtime and thereafter, it'll be looking good and pleasant. And then here we are looking throughout your 7-day forecast. So that rain chance really doesn't come on in towards the second half of the day. We already turned those clocks back, so you can ignore that. But then moving on in towards Veterans Day on Thursday into Friday, we're going to be seeing, Cheryl, pretty much some beautiful conditions coming in and then eventually moving out of town.
All right. Same old, same old. Thank you so much, Addison. And that's going to do it for us for now. Please join us on television for the late news sometime around 10. It all depends on how long football runs. You know how it goes. We'll see you soon. Take care.